Have you tried turning it off and on again? I asked, keeping my tone neutral as my sister Amanda's face filled my screen during yet another video call crisis. Don't be condescending, she snapped, her flawless blowout bouncing with indignation. I'm a senior partner at Maxwell & Brooks. I don't have time for amateur tech jokes. Just fix it remotely, or whatever it is you do. I shifted my focus to my other monitor, where streams of code scrolled down like digital silk. Phoenix Global's newest AI security protocol, my brainchild, was nearing launch. A project valued in the billions. Yet in Amanda's eyes, I was still her younger sister who just happened to be good with computers. I can't fix it if I don't know what the issue is, I replied, calm, rehearsed, tired. I'd said this too many times before. She groaned dramatically. The Wilson Tech merger files are encrypted, and no one here can open them. Happy now, IT girl? This is the biggest deal our firm has ever handled, and I need those documents reviewed before tomorrow's board meeting. I froze. Wilson Tech, of course. Send me the file, I said, already certain of what I'd find. I knew the encryption. I wrote it. Finally, was that so hard? She huffed. I'll have my assistant send it over. Just do your little computer thing and unlock it. 10 minutes later, the files appeared on my screen, scrambled with a protocol only I could break. I leaned back, absorbing the moment. These weren't just Wilson Tech's merger documents. They were Phoenix Global's. My company's. I've decrypted the files, I said flatly, sending them back. You're a lifesaver, Amanda said with a sigh, even if you do just sit around all day tinkering with code. Anyway, I've got a meeting to prep for. She ended the call. I leaned back in my chair, the skyline of Seattle gleaming through the glass behind me, my office atop Phoenix Tower. On my desk, the latest issue of Forbes lay open. My face on the cover. Alex Chin, the billion-dollar code queen. My phone buzzed, a message from legal. Final merger docs prepped for tomorrow. Should we list you as signing CEO, or have the chair handle it? I smiled. Tomorrow's meeting with Maxwell & Brooks would be memorable. Amanda thought she'd be walking in to negotiate with Wilson Tech's leadership. Instead, she'd walk in to face her little sister, not as a background techie, but as the CEO of Phoenix Global, the $50 billion tech empire absorbing Wilson Tech. For a decade, I let her believe I was just IT support. I endured every eye roll at family dinners, every time she called me to fix a printer, every snide remark about getting a real job. Last Christmas, she had laughed over wine and appetizers. Remember that startup you tried in college? Thank God you settled into something stable. That startup became Phoenix Global. While she climbed the corporate ladder at her firm, I built a silent empire, operating under my Chinese name, Shuing Chin, and letting the world underestimate me. But tomorrow, everything changes. I tapped a reply to legal. I'll be signing. Please ensure Miss Amanda Brooks oversees the final review personally. A soft knock on my door. My apologies, Miss Chin, my assistant said. The board is ready for the pre-merger briefing. I rose, adjusting my tailored Armani blazer. On my way. I paused by my desk, eyes falling on the family photo from last Thanksgiving. Amanda stood at the center, radiant, dominant. I lingered at the edge, forgettable in a plain sweater and jeans. She never saw me coming. She will tomorrow. Because sometimes, the sweetest revenge isn't correcting someone. It's letting them walk into the room and realize, far too late, just how wrong they were. It's all about timing, waiting for the perfect moment to show them just how wrong they've been. The morning of the merger meeting, I arrived at Phoenix Tower at exactly 6 a.m., 3 hours ahead of schedule. Outside, a shroud of fog curled around the sleek glass exterior, casting the building in a dreamlike haze. Maria, my executive assistant, met me in my office with a stack of folders and my usual green tea. Your sister called the office 4 times last night, she said, barely suppressing a smile. She wanted to speak directly with CEO Chin about urgent concerns in the merger documents. I reminded her, per your instructions, that Miss Chin only communicates through formal channels during active negotiations. Maria hesitated, then added with amusement. She wasn't thrilled. I could imagine. Amanda had never liked being denied access, especially when it meant she wasn't the most important person in the room. Has she figured it out yet? I asked, scrolling through my inbox. Not even close. She asked if I could patch her through to IT. Said her sister works here and might be able to help expedite the issue. I chuckled. 10 years of invisibility had become my shield and my weapon. While Amanda bragged about her partnership at Maxwell & Brooks, I quietly built Phoenix Global, starting in a garage, now commanding one of the most powerful tech empires in the world. Our AI security systems guarded the digital fortresses of Fortune 500 giants. Our quantum division rewrote how data was understood. And yet, to my family, I was still just good with computers. At 8:30 sharp, Maria returned. The Maxwell & Brooks team is in the building. Your sister is in the lobby, giving their junior associates a crash course on merger etiquette. I pulled up the security feed on my tablet. There she was, flawless in her designer suit, commanding a circle of nervous young lawyers. Even without audio, I could read her lips. Remember, we're about to meet Phoenix Global's CEO. This is the biggest tech acquisition of the year. Don't embarrass me. I smiled. Let's make them wait in the Jade conference room, I said. I'll observe from here until 9. The Jade room was engineered for intimidation, perched on the 60th floor. Its smart glass walls could become transparent at a touch, offering a dizzying view of the skyline. Its namesake centerpiece, a Jade conference table, was worth more than Amanda's annual bonus. Through the live feed, I watched as they were ushered in. Amanda, naturally, claimed the power seat opposite the CEO's. Classic, always eager to match herself with whoever held authority. At 8:55, I stood and adjusted my tailored Tom Ford suit. It was time. Maria handed me the final merger packet, then paused. One more thing, she said, passing me a slim file. Performance reviews from Maxwell & Brooks. Your sister's been taking credit for work done by 3 junior associates. They filed formal complaints last month. I raised an eyebrow. Of course she had. Amanda always built her image by stepping on others, including me. The walk to the Jade room took exactly 3 minutes. From behind the frosted glass, I could hear her voice. The CEO is late. Typical tech types. No respect for real business protocol. I glanced at my watch. 8:59. At exactly 9 o'clock, the doors opened. I stepped inside, followed by my executive team. Amanda didn't turn. She was mid-sentence, still addressing her audience. Honestly, these tech CEOs think they're so special just because? Just because what, Amanda? She froze. Slowly, she turned, expecting some assistant or junior staffer. No doubt. Her face was already prepared, polite, dismissive, condescending. And then she saw me. Our eyes locked. Her smile faltered. Confusion. Recognition. Shock. Panic. Alex, she whispered. I met her gaze, calm and unflinching. In this room, Miss Brooks, I said coolly, taking my seat at the head of the table. It's Miss Chin. Shall we begin? Her expensive fountain pen slipped from her fingers and clattered onto the Jade table, echoing through the silence. The next 30 minutes were exquisitely tense. I led the meeting with precision, outlining Phoenix Global's strategic goals, laying out our vision for the acquisition, and presenting the global roadmap our engineering teams had prepared. Every time I mentioned a multi-billion-dollar initiative, Amanda's face tightened. Every time I used terminology she didn't understand, she blinked rapidly, forcing a nod. By the time I summoned the floor-to-ceiling glass to turn transparent, revealing the dizzying city view below, she looked like she might be sick. Now, I said, tapping on my tablet, let's address a few discrepancies in the merger process. Amanda snapped to attention. Discrepancies? I tapped through the files on screen. For instance, the technical review section. According to these documents, you personally handled evaluation of our AI security infrastructure. Her mouth opened. I supervised the team that. Interesting, I said, because the encryption protocol you supposedly reviewed was custom designed by our CTO. Only 5 people in the world understand it. None of them are at your firm. Silence. Amanda sat rigid, the blood draining from her face. I closed the file and looked up. This isn't just about corporate transparency, it's about ethics and trust. I leaned forward, voice calm but pointed. For 10 years, I let you talk down to me, fix your Wi-Fi, proofread your emails, pretend I was just the techie little sister. You never once stopped to ask what I was really building. I stood, straightened my jacket, and looked around the table. Let's proceed. I tapped through the internal records, then looked up. According to these communications, I said, voice steady, the technical review was actually completed by 3 junior associates. I met Amanda's gaze directly. The same 3 who filed credit theft complaints just last month. The room shifted. Chairs creaked, partners exchanged awkward glances. Amanda's face flushed a deep crimson. That's an internal matter, she stammered. Not anymore. I leaned forward, cool and composed. Phoenix Global has a strict ethical code. We believe credit belongs to those who earn it. I allowed a pause. Let the silence bite. That's why I kept my position here quiet. I wanted to build this on merit, not family ties. A slow realization crept into Amanda's expression. All those years, she whispered, almost to herself, when you said you worked in tech. I was building Phoenix Global from the ground up, I said, calmly. While you were laughing at me for playing with computers, I was creating the AI systems that now safeguard most of the world's financial infrastructure. While you treated me like your personal IT help, I was revolutionizing cybersecurity. Silence, just the quiet hum of the ventilation system and the weight of truth settling across the table. The merger can continue, I added, returning to business, but on a few conditions. I looked Amanda dead in the eye. First, full credit for the technical review is to be assigned to the junior associates who actually did the work. Second, Maxwell and Brooks will implement a comprehensive internal ethics review protocol. And third, I paused, holding the moment. Amanda Brooks is to be recused from any and all dealings with Phoenix Global going forward. Her eyes widened. You can't do that, she snapped, desperation bleeding into her voice. I'm the senior partner managing this deal. Actually, I tapped my tablet. Instantly, new documents populated the screens around the table. As CEO of the acquiring entity, I can, and I have. One of her fellow partners cleared his throat awkwardly. Amanda, perhaps it's time to. No, she barked, rising from her chair, her mask of poise cracking. This is absurd. She's my sister. She fixes computers. I stood. And with the calm authority of a woman who had waited a decade for this moment, I cut her off. Miss Brooks, this room records all audio. Would you like to continue explaining exactly why you're being recused? She froze, mid-outburst. Then slowly, she sank back into her chair, speechless for the first time. I turned to the others. Shall we proceed with the correct team members? The meeting lasted another 3 hours. The merger was finalized. The junior associates received full recognition. Amanda never said another word. As the room emptied, I called out gently, Miss Brooks, a moment? She turned back, hesitant, smaller than I had ever seen her. I smiled. If you need IT support next time, I said softly, submit a ticket through official channels. Our help desk is far more efficient than your sister's private line. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the skyline, Maria entered with a stack of messages. My father had called, proud. My mother had emailed, shocked. Amanda had sent a single text. I'm sorry, not just for today, for everything. I stood by the window, looking at my reflection against the gold-streaked sky. For years, I let her belittle me. Let her define me. Let her believe the only value I had was what I could fix for her. But success had never been about proving her wrong. It had always been about proving myself right. I picked up my phone and typed. Next family dinner's at my place. Top floor, Phoenix Tower. Dress appropriately. And Amanda, bring your junior associates. It's time they met the family. Because the best revenge? Isn't just revealing who you've become. It's helping others realize who they could have been, if only they'd seen your worth sooner. As the city lights flickered to life below, I smiled. Amanda always told me to think bigger. She just never imagined I'd outgrow her imagination entirely.